I'm gay and I'm married to a woman, and I'm going to talk about monogamy right now because a lot of people ask us, are we monogamous? Do I have gentlemen on the side, or do we have an open marriage or anything like that? And also address how people wonder, how could I be fulfilled in a monogamous marriage with a woman? So we are monogamous. We do not have any other people on the side. And this is a boundary that we both established and knew we were morally aligned with before we even entered the relationship. If that wasn't the case for either of us, we would not be in a relationship. We would just be single in the world. And we have a lot of friends that have open relationships or in thruples or, quintuples or God knows what all is going on with some people we know. And that works for them, and a lot of them it doesn't work for. We see a lot of examples of those things falling apart, and some people it might work out for in the long term, and that's wonderful for them and their boundaries. But for us, we knew that a relationship is something that we hold sacred, and that we want to find that one person who makes everybody else fade into the background. And that's what happened when we met and fell in love, is that no other person even seems to exist, at least on the level that we see each other at. And I think that's such a beautiful thing, and maybe not everybody has that experience in their life. And we realize how unique and beautiful our experience was to find somebody with this same feeling. And so we do not judge people who have those other relationship dynamics, and whatever works for you works for you. For us, a marriage and leading to children, it's just so important for us to have a person that you are 100% committed to, and that you can trust to always be there and is centric around you, because life is complicated, and raising a kid is complicated, and marriage is complicated, and you need to have that foundation to make sure you can always come back to that. And on top of that, it's just like, to me, going outside of a marriage, it's so messy and dirty, and I could never imagine it, and I don't think she could either. I know she couldn't. We've discussed this many times. So we've set up a lot of boundaries in our relationship. We're very clear. We don't flirt with other people. We don't ever give that indication that, this could ever happen to somebody. We don't ever want anybody mistaking our kindness as a person for flirtations, because that's just in itself wrong to us as well. That is, toying with the idea, and you might as well be doing it if you're gonna go there. One of my favorite films is Eyes Wide Shut, and it plays off of this dynamic. Tom Cruise is married to Nicole Kidman. They were really married at the time, and Nicole Kidman has a dream where an sexual encounter comes to her mind, and she clearly is kind of aroused by it, and she's cheating in her mind. And it leads Tom Cruise down a path of temptation to cheating in reality because of the disturbance that this creates. And at the end of the film, you're left with sort of this moral balance of, cheating of the mind is in the same league as cheating with the body, and how the two, are both playing with fire that can eventually lead a springboard back and forth that can get out of control. So to us, none of that is permitted, and we keep that very clear. And I've always been the type of person that finds flirtation very uncomfortable, particularly from the opposite sex. I mean, as a gay person, anybody who gives off that energy of the opposite sex towards me before I was married or anything even gave me that uncomfortable feeling, because I'm just like, ugh, like I don't want that. And that whole energy in general just has this sort of ugliness that I think we as a culture are hopefully getting away from a little bit. There's still the hookup culture out there that I talk about being so negative, but that's sort of the springboard for hookup culture, is like giving people that energy, and it's awkward, and it's put on, it's performative, it's not a real connection. You're trying to connect over something so surface level. And I just think, why are people leading with that? Or people who have to lead with their sexuality or their bodies in life to get attention. It always just feels so desperate and so like not real. And, there's nothing wrong with sexuality. There's nothing wrong with feeling confident and sexy or beautiful or handsome. But that can be a part of you. And you see it when people are just like, that's all they see the value in themselves. And you're just like, ugh, it's awful. It's sad. So, boy, I'm in the car waiting for Samantha. She's at an appointment. So I thought I'd just go on this ramble. But we have remained completely monogamous for almost 10 years now, the duration of our relationship, which is almost 10 years. And we, now one of the things people wonder is, how can I, as a gay man, be fulfilled by this? And I've said this a number of times, when you meet your soulmate, it just levels the room, everything else goes away. You feel fulfilled by that person. You almost feel so more than fulfilled. You feel so fulfilled that it's like pouring out of you, and it can be even overwhelming. So the idea of needing another person, it's like it's already spilling out over the top. Another person would just make the whole thing, explode. It's like, I feel like that is how I felt for 10 straight years, is just completely fulfilled and completely in love with one person. And it's an amazing thing. It's something that growing up I didn't really understand or never really desired to have in my life. And once I found it, it was like a whole hidden meaning to life and to love and to knowing another person that I didn't know could exist. Every time I saw a relationship in a movie or television or anything, it felt so phony to me up until this point. I couldn't quite click with it. It's like, another one of my favorite films is Casablanca. And I always loved that movie, but it wasn't until I fell in love and watched it that movie tore me to pieces, and that movie really hit me in all the complex ways it is designed to do, because you're aware of the stakes at that point. And most romance things that I liked, another favorite movie is Annie Hall, and that movie, their relationship, their playfulness, just, it hits you in such a different way after you've fallen in love than it does in single life. And I think that does show you that it unlocks a chamber. And now, as we are expecting a child, I know that that's going to unlock another chamber in my heart that I didn't know was there. And I'm sure things that are about parenthood and children will click with me and resonate with me so much stronger after that point. No, I mean, they already do. It's already built into our DNA to affect us, but once it's personal, it's over. So, monogamy is, a lot of people, I've had gay friends say, oh, that's so archaic to be monogamous, or I've had people just like kind of turn their nose at it. And I think, if anything, it's not archaic. I think it's more progressive. I mean, we are animals at our core, and most animals are not monogamous. The fact that we as humans can choose monogamy and live a life that way is, to me, a progression in evolution that says we understand the responsibility of loving another person, of creating a family with another person, and our capabilities to raise that and cater to that love and give it our full attention. It takes restriction. It doesn't take, how do I say this? It doesn't tap into the animal brain. It taps into the conscious human brain to have to work hard and work through difficulties that arise from this. Animals just go out there and mate and run around, and I'm not saying people who aren't monogamous are behind in any way, but I do think the idea of monogamy is actually the progressive idea of our species and of how we separate ourselves from animals. And it can be seen as a beautiful thing. And culturally, right now, there's like all this movement to not be monogamous and for relationships to be open, and there's TV shows about it and all this stuff, and it's very sensational. And I think that for some people, if they organically come to that conclusion for their life, it's one thing. When they are being influenced by this culture to try it out, it could have severe consequences for them in their relationship that maybe these things aren't portraying. These things are portraying a glamorous side to it. And it's sexy and it's, fun to run around and be with all these different people. And that's all the tricks of editing that show it in one light or the other. And I think people really need to look inwards with themselves. And a lot of relationships that I've known that have been open or in thruples, there tends to be one partner who desires that and another partner who gets kind of pressured into the situation. Not always, but I've definitely seen that, where one partner's like, well, I want it to be open, and they said, okay, and you can tell there's apprehension in the other partner, but they're trying to please that person, or they're just trying to keep them as their partner, and they'll do whatever it takes, including something that goes against their boundaries. And that can be really hard. It's easy for me in a relationship where I have the same morals as my partner to say that's what we both wanted, but I couldn't imagine loving somebody that has a completely different trajectory of where they think our relationship could go and pushing me outside my comfort zone to do something like that. It's just very sad. So don't ever let somebody push you away from your morals or away from the boundaries that you want a relationship to have. Don't ever do that. That person is not there for your interests. That person is there for their own gains. And if they're not fulfilled by you, first of all, to me, that's a red flag. No matter what, even if you are in an open relationship, there should be an understanding that even if you didn't go outside of the marriage, that other person should be enough, no matter what. And if that person is really pushing that, take it as maybe a sign that it's time to go. And if that's what you want, great. For us, we are so happy, and I'm telling you, a relationship like ours exists. And if you want that for your life, it's out there for you. And it's maybe waiting, and maybe that person who's pushing you outside of your moral comfort zone is just getting in the fucking way. A lot of people just get in your way, honestly. Most of life is pushing the people that are in your way out of the way to get to that one person who's going to improve your life. And, not just one person. There's many people in your life who improve your life. There's family, and there's your partner, and there's people in business and friends, all there to improve your life. But they're the diamonds in the rough of so many people. And it's easy to be stuck on what you want as opposed to what other people want. And for me, one of the signs of my relationship being successful that I feel I've always felt is that I always want Samantha's life to be better than mine. I work tirelessly to improve her life, and she works tirelessly to improve my life, beyond even my own comfort level. It pushes me outside of my comfort level just to improve her life. If that means I'm getting up and cleaning a mess that she made, or I'm doing her laundry, or cooking for her a meal that she feels she wants tonight for her pregnancy craving or something. And for her, she's pushing me to speak up for myself. She's maybe getting frustrated that I'm not, pushing at something for work, or fighting back on a charge that was wrong, or something that I would have just let go in the past. She's there to push on me to do. And so when your interest is in improving the other person over your own life, there's a good sign it's really working out. Now, you don't want to be the savior of somebody. That can be really bad. And a lot of people, I've heard that this particularly affects women a lot, is that they get into a fixer-upper relationship where, oh, I can fix him, I can make him better, because sometimes people who are flawed and crazy and all of those sort of things can be very attractive. It can be exciting for us to imagine polishing them up, like some Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady. That's that whole thing, is he romanticizes fixing this broken girl, and she is completely broken, and she's cockney and a groundling, and that's her at her core. And he does improve her life and make a lady out of her, but in the end, she doesn't want him. The improvement leads her to something that's a love that's actually better than him, because it's a mutual love with Freddie. And he is not really loving her for the right reasons. He's loving her because she's occupying his time and filling a void and being the fixer-upper, and basically is a Frankenstein project for him. And that's not a love. A love is mutual and has benefits to both partners, and he is benefiting from her. But anyway, this is a whole My Fair Lady ramble. But it is really true that a lot of people get into these fixer-upper relationships, and it's really important to know if you're doing that or not, because you can only fix somebody so much. You can only change somebody so much. People at their core are still similar. It's like you lose contact with somebody for however many years, 10, 20 years, and you meet back up with them, and it's like they're still the same person. They might be a little different in their lifestyle or things, but underneath it all, you still see that person. I have friends from childhood, and I see them, and it's like I'm still looking at that kid when I was a kid and you were a kid. It's like, it's amazing. And babies come into this world with fully formed personalities. So, there's only so much you can do. And I definitely feel that I've been improved by my wife, but there was never, I don't think she was looking for a goal to change me or improve me. It's just over the years, her influence and also my own desire to be a better person for our relationship has cleaned up my act, as opposed to being forced into something or being her project. So monogamy is what we have, and we are completely solid in that. We're not judgmental of anybody who doesn't do that, but we say, if you want that for your life, it's out there. Do not settle for less, and do not try to fix anybody who's broken.